fuck. What is up, everyone? This is Ellibod here. Welcome to the Ellibod Sports Network. The championship is done. Well, technically there's still the playoffs, but table is done. And it's time for me to look back at my predictions of the season. And, oh my god. Yeah, it's not been a good one. The championship is one of the hardest leagues to predict. You can realistically have teams that should be surefire for relegation contesting for the playoffs and even automatic promotion, and teams that you think would be surefire to get into the Premier League end up in a relegation scrap. So, let's look back at my prediction from the beginning of the season and see how I have done. I already know that I've not done very well, but we'll go over it point by point. Once again, my predictions use a point system. If I get the prediction spot on, I score 5 points. If I get the prediction 1 place out, I score 3 points. If I am 2 places out, I score 1 point. Any further than that, it is an incorrect prediction. And I know I'm going to have a lot of those. And remember, my target is 24 points. Also, I just want to apologise, but I didn't do a halfway reaction like I did last year. But I just haven't had the time. Honestly, this year I have been busy as all hell trying to get stuff done. But no more time wasting, let's look at the predictions that I made and see how I have done. So, we start off with 24th. I went with Derby County and, well, not the worst start. 1 place out, so 3 points on the board. Yeah, this was not a shock. Derby County getting relegated. The points deduction was a crippler from the start of the season. And I generally didn't actually think... I thought at the beginning of the season the points deduction wouldn't make a difference. I thought Derby County were doomed because Wayne Rooney was not a good coach. But I'll actually say this. Derby County did not go down without a fight. And I actually have to give Wayne Rooney some credit. He stuck with them tooth and nail to try and get them out of this situation. And yeah, I guess full credit to him. He at least showed that Derby County was still willing to go for it and go for the fight, as opposed to a team like, if you look at National League Dover, who just rolled over and died. Derby County actually tried to fight and tried to get out, and there was a brief period, a brief glimmer of hope where it looked like they may have got out. But that was very quickly extinguished by other results. So yeah, not a huge surprise, but Derby County got relegated, got this one place out. As in regards to the situation with Derby County, I've looked into a few of the potential owners, and the one that got me the most as a Newcastle fan is that Mike Ashley is interested. Now, if I were a Derby County fan, I'd be pretty scared if Mike Ashley was running Derby. On the one hand, he was an awful owner at my club, led us to our darkest days for a very long time. But there is a part of me that does think, you know, I don't want to see Derby County liquidated. I don't want to see Derby County go out of business. I have a great respect for Derby and for what it's done in the game of football. And, you know, again, I have to respect Wayne Rooney for actually showing that Derby County were willing to fight. And if that's how Derby County are going to be under him, then I think they'll do big things in League One next season. But if Mike Ashley is the best option, I guess you're going to have to go for it and hope for the best. We're going to have to see if any deal goes through before even thinking about Derby County in League One. So yeah, Derby County relegated in 23rd place rather than 24th. So next, 23rd place, I went with Peterborough, and again, I'm a place out. Another 3 points on the board, so I'm now on 6 already. So I'm off to a good start. But yeah, Peterborough, yeah, there was just no fighting you throughout most of the season. Peterborough were just a nothing club in the Championship this season, although they did go out on a high with a 5-0 win against Blackpool. Which, yeah, I guess credit to them. You went out on a high. Doesn't really change the fact that you're going straight back down to League One. So not a surprise there. What was a surprise? Oh boy. One of the worst predictions that I've made, and I'm still shocked it has been as bad as that. How are Huddersfield in the playoffs? How are Huddersfield in 3rd place? I predicted for relegation, you end up in the playoffs. Yeah, okay, good for you. But you're still shit. You are still one of the worst teams in the league right now. And now there's a prospect of you coming back up to the Prem? That is a scary concept. Huddersfield back in the Premier League. Again, I don't understand how... you got into playoffs. I mean, you look at the teams that surrounded you, most of them scoring more goals than you and conceding less. I watched quite a lot of Huddersfield's games this season and they were crap, and yet they still won. So yeah, a completely incorrect prediction. I predicted you for relegation, but you're in the playoffs instead. Fuck. So, I'm going to move off of Huddersfield now before my blood pressure rises any higher. 21st, I predicted them to narrowly escape relegation. They did, but they escaped it a lot more comfortably than... I predicted, and that was Blackpool. Other than that last day disaster at the hands of Peterborough, yeah, Blackpool were alright. They managed to keep themselves in the Championship. It's going to be a matter of whether or not they stay there. Because next season could be a pretty tough one with a lot of the changes coming in regards to, like, transfer policy throughout the league and ownership rules and all those kinds of things. Blackpool are going to need to try and maintain Championship status. They cannot drop back to League One if they're going to have any chance. They've got to maintain some level of stability in the Championship and then try and push for the Prem again. The same with the team I predicted for 20th, and this team did a lot better than I predicted, Coventry. They finished in 12th. So yeah, I think Coventry might be on the up and up for next season. I think they might be a sleeper hit in the Championship next season. So not really much else I can add in regards to Coventry. I think you're making all the correct moves. I think you're playing a nice enough style of football. It's just going to be a matter of ironing out the creases. But I really think Coventry could be chasing for the playoffs. If not next season, then the season after it. That definitely seems like seems to be a good road at the moment for Coventry City. So in 19th, another team that did miles better than I predicted. But the concept of Luton Town in the Premier League does not compute with me. Have you seen Luton Town Stadium? It's a bunch of houses that have been hollowed out and room made in the middle for a stadium. There are stairs going up to gantries in the stadium. Stairs that go up to the gantry that go over other people's gardens. That could be in the Premier League next season. And I don't want to see it. But there's another part of me that actually wouldn't mind seeing it. Mainly because I just like to see Luton Town fall again. I haven't got anything wrong with Luton as a place. I just don't like their football club. I think that they have delusions of grandeur. And when are they moving into that new stadium anyway? Get on with it. Rightio. So, 18th. And we finally come onto a team that have done worse than I predicted them, and I didn't even think that was possible. Oh, Birmingham. All the meanwhile that Aston Villa are dominating football in the city, you lot are looking like fucking chumps. And I actually can't believe you were in the Premier League at one point. Because your football isn't even worthy of League One. You could put Birmingham in League Two and no one would bat an eyelid. And that is the saddest concept of all of them. I find that so laughable. That's how bad your football is. But I predicted you for the worst place I could possibly put you, and you did worse than that. I predicted you for 18th, you finished 20th. 2 places out, so I get another point on the board. So I am on 7 right now. So that was 18th, 17th, Bristol City, yes! A correct position! 5 points on the board for me. I am now on 12 points. 12 points. Seeing as this is Eurovision week, I might as well throw in a Eurovision reference. Yeah, I can't really say anything on Bristol City. They did exactly what I said they were going to do. I said they'd come 17th, and they have come 17th. So there we go, correct position on the board, finally. So I got Bristol City right. One I didn't get right, and now another team would have done worse than I predicted. Hull. I predicted you for 16th, and you finished in 19th. 3 places out, so I don't get anything for that. Well, I had a feeling that Hull City were going to ride some kind of momentum coming up, but they obviously didn't ride anywhere near enough of it. And dropping down into 19th, you could definitely see Hull City in a relegation scrap next season. Unless, of course, they bring in some really good players to iron out the attack and the defence. I think it's more the defence that needs to be ironed out than the attack, but you could really iron out both. Otherwise, I could see Hull in a relegation scrap next season. So I didn't get Hull City correct for 16th, they ended in 19th. Another one I've got wrong, and this team have done better than I have predicted. By 6 places, I predicted Millwall for 15th, and they ended in 9th. So, Millwall is a weird one. Again, it's a club I do respect / fear. But your club is way too unpredictable. One season, you're being predicted for brilliance and you end up in a relegation scrap. The next season, you're predicted for a relegation scrap and you're almost contesting for promotion. And again, Millwall is a club that I would actually like to see in the Premier League just because it would make things more interesting. But again, Millwall like this, I mean, it's moved in the right direction. Millwall are clearly moving in the right places, but nope. Still not getting up yet. But you did better than I said you would. Another team would have done better than I said I would by, again, 6 places. I predicted Blackburn for 14th, and you ended up in 8th. So, again, a bit like Millwall, you're moving in the right direction, which I find a bit strange for Blackburn because your owners are still a piece of shit. But, I mean, they must be doing something right if they've got you into 8th place. And again, Blackburn are a club that deserve to be in the Premier League. I mean, they're former Premier League champions, for God's sake. Blackburn are a club that should be contesting for promotion more often. And the fact that they've done better than I predicted means at least they're moving in the right direction. But it's now just going to be a matter of... I think you just need to find... I just think you need to find the right sort of defender or goalkeeper. Because a lot of the goals that Blackburn did concede this season were, I have to say, quite cheap. Like, they could have been very easily defended or saved, and some of the defending of Blackburn was on par if you had an entire back line of Harry Maguire's. And I will talk about Maguire when I do my Premier League reaction. But I'm not going to raise my blood pressure any higher than it already is. So that was Blackburn. I predicted for 14th, and they ended up in 8th. So, well done, I guess. Next, in 13th, I went with QPR, and they finished in 11th. 2 places out. 1 point on the board. Right, so QPR... Can't really say anything about them this season. They were pretty lukewarm, nothing too interesting. Not boring, but, you know, you need to be interesting if you're going to get up into the Prem. Back into the Prem in the case of QPR, now that I say that. I'm not too sure what should be done with QPR, though, because, again, middle of the table, they're not doing badly, not doing brilliantly. And from the QPR games I watched, I can't really identify a problem. So, I guess it's just going to be luck of the draw next time. Another team that didn't exactly have any luck. Oh boy. Wasn't as bad as my Huddersfield prediction, but it's still quite a bad one. Barnsley. I predicted Barnsley for 12th. I thought that you'd try and keep some momentum going from the previous season. And instead, you tanked. You tanked hard. You finished below Derby County, who started on -21. You finished below... Well, you finished below both of the teams that were deducted points this season. I'll cover the other one when I get to it. But no, Barnsley this season were a travesty, and don't get me wrong, I like Barnsley Football Club, but they deserve to go down. And the way they played, they deserved last. Definitely not 12th. I don't know what I was thinking predicting them 12th. Next we go up to 11th to who I predicted for 11th, Stoke City. And no, they finished in 14th instead. 3 places out, so I don't get anything for that. I'm still on 13 points. Yep, I'm still on 13 points. But yeah, again, Stoke City, the Tony Pulis Football Club, that have never ever left that kind of style of football. All the managers that have managed Stoke still embrace that defensive, long ball from the back, hard tackle football, and I despise that kind of football. If you're not focusing on attack, then you're not playing the game. I'm just going to put that out there. And there's going to be another club that I'm going to cover in a moment who I'm also going to condemn for embracing that style. But no, I hate conservative football. I think there's only one manager who I could respect for playing that style, and that's Sean Dyche. But all the other managers that do it, they never seem to get it to work. And if you concede early, and I can remember quite a few occasions where Stoke did concede pretty early into games, you're not going to make it anywhere. I mean, yeah, you're still mid-table, but you should be doing a lot better. So now into the top 10. What have I got here? 10th, I went with, I thought they'd have a bit of a fall, and they did. But not the fall I was thinking. I predicted Sheffield United. Coming down from the Premier League normally is quite a rough one. You try and bounce back and come straight back up. And I didn't think Sheffield United would have a chance at it, but they are in the playoffs. And they have an interesting tie with the next team on my list. The team I predicted for 9th, and they actually finished in 4th, Nottingham Forest. Finally, a chance for Nottingham Forest to try and get back up into the Prem. And I personally, of all the teams in the playoffs at the moment, I'm actually going to say I want Nottingham Forest to be the team that comes up. I think they are more deserving than... I think they're more deserving than the other three. Much more deserving. And the weird thing is that actually Sheffield United will play Nottingham Forest in the semi-final of the playoffs. Really nice football this season. I think finally the ghost of Brian Clough has kicked some sense into you. And fingers crossed that Nottingham Forest can get promoted. So quickly covering both 10th and 9th. 8th, I went with Preston. And nope, they did worse than I predicted. A lot worse. Well, not the worst of the worst I predicted. I mean, there's definitely teams I predicted that did a lot worse. They only did 5 places worse. How many times did I say worse in that sentence? Yeah. Going from... I predicted you may have been chasing for playoffs and you've ended up in the mid-table. Not the worst, but certainly not great. Right. 7th, I went with Middlesbrough. A second correct prediction. 5 on the board for me. I'm on 18 points. I'm 6 away from the target. I might just scrape it. Or maybe not, I'm not sure. Wait, never mind. The Middlesbrough, yep. Right on the cusp of the playoff places. Just falling short on the final few days. Again, this is a club that I don't think needs to make anything too drastic. It doesn't mean it needs to make any drastic changes. They're heading all the right way. It's just going to be... I mean, I think it's just going to have to be getting some luck on the field. The Middlesbrough could be coming up a lot sooner than you think. So now, into the playoff places. 6th. You could have had a much better chance, West Brom. But what was your idea to push you into that playoff place? Steve fucking Bruce. You want to chase for promotion with Steve Bruce. Good luck with that. You're not getting anywhere near it. And yeah, you might think as a Newcastle fan that I'm bitter because Steve Bruce was the Newcastle manager before the takeover. And, yeah, I am. I am bitter. And I'm angry that Steve Bruce has been given another job in football. The man should be nowhere near a pitch. Have him as like a light-hearted pundit or something, but not a football manager. He is not fit to coach. He's about as fit to coach a football team as I am to be a butcher. Yeah, I can slice off a couple of bits of meat, but I'm not going to carve the whole fucking cow. I've never been trained to do it. In the same way that Steve Bruce hasn't been trained to win games. The fact that he plays the conservative style of football and doesn't even set it up correctly showcases just how bad he is. West Brom, you are getting nowhere near promotion. Another team getting nowhere near promotion is Cardiff. I predicted you for 5th. What a collapse. As a matter of fact, both Welsh teams collapsed, and I'll cover the other one in a moment. But wow, was your fall from grace something else. Your fall was one of the most embarrassing things I think I've ever watched. And I don't think Cardiff will recover from this. It will take something very special to do it. So, 4th place. I went with Bournemouth. I thought that Bournemouth might have had a bit of a struggle to get back into the Prem. I think they'd probably trip up in some areas and end up in the playoffs, but no. They secured automatic promotion to the Premier League, and yeah, credit to them. And speaking as a Newcastle fan and our manager being Eddie Howe, I'm happy to see Bournemouth back up. I think Bournemouth is actually a lovely little place. I've been to Bournemouth once or twice in the last 5 years or so. Obviously not during lockdown, but I went there once before lockdown and once after it. And Bournemouth is an absolutely lovely place. So this one, I got 2 places out, so I do get a point on the board. 19 now. Okay. I get another point on the board with this next one though. 3rd place, I predicted Fulham. And Fulham actually won the championship. Again, I thought that Fulham would trip up. I thought that Fulham would sort of let go in the final few days and end up dropping down into the playoff places. But no, they didn't. They played very well. They looked focused. They looked determined. I now just... This whole joke that, you know, Fulham go up, Norwich come down, Norwich come up, Fulham go down, the yo-yoing between Fulham and Norwich, I really hope that stops. Just, I hope Fulham stay in the Premier League next season. But again, you're going to need to get the players for the Prem. The players you need in the Premier League are very different from the players you need in the Championship. So it'll be interesting to see how Fulham do. Right, the 2 teams I predicted in my top 2. Another Welsh Dragon falls in the form of Swansea. Again, you should have done so much better than you did. You should have stormed the Championship and come back up in glory to the Premier League, but instead, you tanked. You tanked hard. As hard as Cardiff did. I can't really say much else on that. I'm certainly not going to say that Swansea will come up for promotion again. And I'm certainly never going to predict this team for promotion again. Absolute bottlers in You know, they were playing a perfectly fine style of football last season. They just had to keep the momentum going. This season, they tried to change the whole thing, and look where it got them. What the fuck were you doing, Reading? I predicted you to win the championship, and you almost got relegated. This is worse than my Huddersfield prediction. You bottlers. First of all, yeah, okay, you got deducted 6 points, which didn't help you, but you still could have put up a fight. You could have still gone for it, but instead, you lot rolled over and nearly died. And I certainly know where I'm putting you next season. Right in the relegation zone. Because if that's how bad you're going to play, it's going to be nothing but League One for you. You pissed me off for the last time. And I don't give out that many second chances to teams that piss me off. Not that you lot care about some random YouTuber with barely any subscribers like me. But, yeah. Reading, you sucked this season. You absolutely sucked. So, I didn't even make my target. My target was 24 and I only got 20. 4 points off of my target. I made the target last season. I didn't make it this season. So, I'm going to attempt now for some redemption. The playoffs. We have got Huddersfield against Luton. And we have got Nottingham Forest against Sheffield United. Huddersfield Luton. As much as I don't want to see either of those two teams come up. So, simply because of their form this season, I'm going to go with Huddersfield to win the playoffs semi-final against Luton. And between Nottingham Forest, Sheffield United, again, I'm going to be rooting for Nottingham Forest on that one. So I'm going to go Nottingham Forest. And then the final, Huddersfield, Nottingham Forest. Come on, Nottingham Forest. I'm going to go with Nottingham Forest to win the playoffs and get promotion. Please, come on, Nottingham. At least redeem me for this one. Win the playoffs. Come back to the Prem. Where you belong.